Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we're taking a look at the Vancouver Canucks today, as they had an interesting off-season. They had a pretty successful season last year, considering how they did in the bubble playoffs. They did pretty well, and they look to build off of that into the 2021 NHL season. We'll be taking a look at some of that in this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below, and let's take a look at the Vancouver. Alright, so guys, want to give a quick plug to our other YouTube channel real quick at Goal Line Sports. We talk about all things college football. If you're interested in that, make sure to check us out there at Goal Line Sports. And also make sure to check out our Instagram and Twitter handles here at Goal Line Hockey at @goalline_hockey. Links will be in the description down below as well as throughout the video. And make sure to check out our Patreon. You can obviously financially support the channel. That's always appreciated. But if you're not going to be able to do that, the support from watching these videos is absolutely enough, and I appreciate that just as much. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at the Vancouver Canucks. So the Vancouver Canucks, Jim Benning made some moves this offseason, really two in particular that were very important to the Canucks, and he had to address these issues, and he did a pretty good job with that. The big one being bringing in Nate Schmidt via trade from the Vegas Golden Knights for a 2022 third-round pick. Nate Schmidt comes in at a little under $6 million in terms of his cap hit per season, which is a little bit high, but Nate Schmidt is a top four defenseman. And the fact they were only able to get him for a third-round pick just shows what Nate Schmidt can give to this Vancouver Canucks team. And the fact that it only costed them that much, it just shows that his value compared to his contract is a bit of an issue, especially in a flat salary cap world. But like I said, he is a top four defenseman, and he's locked up for the next 5 years for the Vancouver Canucks. So until he's 34 years old, he is under the rights of the Canucks unless they trade him before then. This is good for the Canucks. Now you look at the Canucks roster this year, and you look at their forward core. You have JT Miller, who they acquired last offseason from the Tampa Bay Lightning, again, for really cheap, because the Tampa Bay Lightning were looking to move out his contract. So, win for the Canucks. Elias Pettersson down the middle, and Jake Virtanen on the right wing. Now, Jake Virtanen is more of I think he's a better third-line winger, but with the Canucks' current situation, with the cap and everything, Jake Virtanen he's able to jump into that role. Former first-round pick, Jake Virtanen is a good hockey player, and he can put up points here and there. He can get in front of the net, whereas JT Miller can also be a guy that gets in front of the net. But again, for Elias Pettersson, who is much more of a perimeter player, it works out very well having those two grit guys on his wing. On the second line, in the top six, you got Tanner Pearson, Bo Horvat, who is the captain, and Brock Besser. Now, the biggest thing about this line is the injuries. Tanner Pearson was out a couple of games with injuries last year, and Brock Besser it is becoming an issue with Brock Besser being out of the lineup with injuries. So hopefully things work out, because Brock Besser is an unbelievable player. We know how good Bo Horvat is, the leadership that he has for this Canucks team, and Tanner Pearson has become a very reliable player. Things didn't work out with him in LA or Pittsburgh, and now he has since come to the Vancouver Canucks and really turned around his NHL career and is playing in the top six for the Canucks. He seems to be fitting quite well there right now. Now the bottom six is going to be interesting for the Canucks. They've got Antoine Roussel and Brandon Sutter on the wings, centered by Adam Gaudette. Now, Adam Gaudette is due for a big season this year. He's one of those guys that, he played, I believe, at Boston College. Let's take a look. Adam Gaudette from Massachusetts, a fifth-round pick. He played with Northeastern University. And with the Vancouver Canucks, he's been in the NHL with the Canucks. He's only been in the NHL for 2 seasons for a long period of time. He had 12 points in that first season, 33 points in the 2019-2020 season, much improved He's been up and down with the Utica Comets this year and last year. But again, it seems like Adam Gaudette is going in the upward trajectory for the Canucks. He's 24 years old, a little over 6 feet. This is a good hockey player, and Adam Gaudette brings a lot of potential in the future for the Vancouver Canucks. The former Cedar Rapids Rough Rider. There's a lot of hype around this kid. He's probably going to be a third liner considering JT Miller, Brock Besser, JT Miller, Bo Horvat, Elias Pettersson are all up on the center depth chart ahead of him, but he is still a good player. Fourth line, Tyler Mott, Brandon Sutter, and Zach Mckeown. Zach Mckeown is a new name for the Canucks, and they're going to be hoping that he comes into the lineup and makes an impact in the bottom six. Now, that's easier said than done because you look at the depth around him, it's not the best. The Prince Edward Island native has spent 2 seasons here with the Canucks. He played in 17 games last season. He put up 6 points. He's only 24 years old, so there is potential still for him. He's been playing in the QMJHL with Moncton and Gatineau, as well as in the Utica Comets, most prolifically, where he's put up 33 points, 52 points, and 11 points in those seasons with the Utica Comets. So he's a pretty consistent player. This is a guy that the Canucks are hoping, again, more of a gritty player. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. He's a big boy, and I think the Canucks are hoping he can really develop into that grit grinder player in their bottom six. Looking at defense, we have Quinn Hughes, the newly acquired Nate Schmidt, locking down that top pair for the Vancouver Canucks. I like this pair. This is a good pair for the Canucks. Nate Schmidt, a puck-moving defenseman, able to move the play forward. And Quinn Hughes, puck-moving defenseman, good skater, moves the puck forward. That seems to be the agenda on the top pair for the Vancouver Canucks, is they will be the big men on the power play units on terms of defense. Quinn Hughes, Nate Schmidt, I like that pair. The Canucks needed another right shot defenseman, and they were able to add that this offseason in Nate Schmidt. The second pair looks quite interesting. Alexander Edler and Tyler Myers. Edler's getting up there in age. He's on the final year of his contract there with the Vancouver Canucks at $6 million. He's 34 years old, left shot defenseman. He will probably not re-sign with the Canucks, I would think. He's 36. He's getting up there. And the Canucks have some young defensemen, which I'm expecting they are hoping will jump into the lineup next year to fill in that void. Tyler Myers, on the other hand, his first season with the Vancouver Canucks, he was a big get when the Canucks got him last year. But again, he's had some injury issues, and I remember saying last year that could be something that holds him back. But he is a right shot defenseman, 30 years old, 6'8", 230 pounds. He's a big boy. Jim Benning definitely liked that. He did put up 21 points in his first season with the Canucks. He has 286 points in his NHL career. Former 12th overall pick back in 2008, the Houston, Texas native Tyler Myers he's a guy, and the Vancouver Canucks are relying on him. He's got 4 more years left on that contract, $6 million per season. They need him to continue to produce. He's a good penalty-killing defenseman, and that's a pretty solid second pair for the Canucks. And this is where things get interesting as we look at their third pair, and there's been a lot of debate who would be alongside Jordy Ben this season. Well, that gives you the first guy. The right shot defenseman is Jordy Ben for the Vancouver Canucks. Brought him in from the Dallas Stars and the Montreal Canadiens. He's played with those teams. 1-year deal, $2 million this season. He's 33 years old, Jordy Ben, which is insane. But he will be playing alongside the Helsinki, Finland native, 22 years old, former 5th overall pick back in 2016. Played with the London Knights in the OHL for a couple years. Played in TPS Turku with SM Liga for a season. Put up pretty nice numbers. And for the past 2 seasons has been playing in spades in the AHL with the Utica Comets, where he's put up 13 points in 18 games in his first season and 25 points in his 45 games this past season with Utica. Olli Juolevi. This is a guy that the Vancouver Canucks are going to be giving him a shot in the NHL next season. He's going to be going into training camp. He needs to win the starting job for the Canucks on this blue line. This is his opportunity to finally get in there and get an opportunity. you have competition coming up down the line. You have Jet Wu, Mitch Elliott, Brisebois, Brogan Rafferty. These are all names that we've heard over the past couple of years in Vancouver. So he needs to make the most of his opportunity here. Get into the NHL, play solid with the Vancouver Canucks. And it's going to be hard to win the Canucks fans over now because now they're starting to feel that you're a bust. Make sure you have a good impact on this team. Maybe you become a top 4 defenseman with Edler leaving next year. This is a great opportunity for Olli Juolevi. We'll have to wait and see how he does. But I am excited to see finally Olli Juolevi jumping into the lineup for the Vancouver Canucks. Now, goaltending. You have 31-year-old Braden Holtby coming over from the Washington Capitals, signing a 2-year, $8.6 million contract, $4.3 million per season for Braden Holtby. He comes over from the Capitals, and we know what he did with the Capitals. He's won a Stanley Cup. He has a cup under his belt, and he's going to be a good mentor for the eventual starter for the Vancouver Canucks moving forward, Thatcherdemko, who's 24 years old. His first season with the Canucks last season was pretty solid. This is a guy that coming over from the East Coast, playing with Boston College for a couple of seasons, playing in Utica. He's finally hitting his pay dirt. He will finally get that opportunity. He started 27 games last season for the Canucks, had a .905 save percentage, a .302 goals against average, which is not good. He has to lower that. He did have 13 wins, which is solid. He's a former second-round pick in 2014 of the Canucks. Like I said, 24 years old, the San Diego native. He's looking to make his opportunity work. He's going to have competition here because you have Braden Holtby, who had a tough year last year with the Capitals. He's going to be looking for a bounce-back season. And since Mckeown left the Washington Capitals to go up with the New York Islanders and Lou Lamoriello, he definitely took a bit of a hit with the loss of Mckeown. But now you can argue that he's going to get a fresh new start on the West Coast in Vancouver on a team where he's not even projected. He doesn't have to be the starter. He's going to split time with Thatcherdemko. And the expectations are much lower for Holtby in this spot. So, will the Vancouver Canucks make the playoffs in the 2021 season? I like their odds. I think the Vancouver Canucks are one of those teams that we have to keep an eye on. I like what they've got in their potential. They have a great team. I mean, they have some guys. Pearson, Besser, if he could stay healthy. Bo Horvat, Quinn Hughes, newly acquired Nate Schmidt, and Thatcherdemko and Holtby in between the pipes. I think the Canucks have that potential. And we saw that Travis Green can be a good head coach based off of what he did in the postseason last year with the Canucks. There's a young team. It was their first go-around for most of those guys in the NHL playoffs in a very unorthodox NHL season. They were able to put together a solid campaign, much further than most people expected. And I think they're going to look to prove people wrong again this year in the 2021 NHL season. And they may be due for another solid run. We'll have to wait and see how that goes, right? So, guys, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of the Vancouver Canucks going into the 2021 NHL season? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey and want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and let's go Canucks.